Hey, what's going on? Cantus Simmons here. So I just got from the gym and as I was driving back home and I got a few text messages and questions asking about FAFSA and taxes. So I wanted to, jump on real quick to do this quick teaching on the who, the what, the when on FAFSA. FAFSA is the free application of federal student aid. This is what the government uses to, sort of determine the financial aid, what's given to students and families out there. So I just wanted to jump on real quick to answer some questions that you may have in your mind about FAFSA and taxes, and then also be able to give you guys some other quick information about FAFSA. So real quickly here, let's talk about the who, right? Who is the FAFSA for? It's for high school seniors who are going to college, or maybe adult students or returning college students, okay? So who is it for? For students going into college, or students who are currently in college or want to go back into college. So that is who FAFSA is for. It's the free application of federal student aid, and it actually allows the government to show you and the federal aids and student loan organizations and scholarships and grants for them to let you know how much money is available to you where college funding is concerned. So what is required when applying for FAFSA? So number one, what's required is your social security number. Yeah, so if you are a student, you need the social security number of yourself. If you are a student with a parent, then you need the social security number of your parent. If you are married, right, and you're going back to school, then you would need your social security number and the social security number of your spouse. Not only social security number, but also driver's license, right? Driver's license. That's also needed when you're applying for FAFSA. And then number three, tax returns. Now, I know that it's, tax day and tax seasons around that time of year. And people often ask me, hey, so which taxes do I need for my, my FAFSA? And if you are applying for FAFSA for, 2019 to 2020 school year, 2019 to 2020 school year, then you would need your taxes from the previous year, right? So that's what 2017 tax returns. And so here's the amazing thing about the whole process now. As you apply for FAFSA and go through the application with your social security number and your tax returns, there is a connection on there. And as you, complete your taxes, if you're a student and you're dependent on other parents, then yes, we're going to need the tax returns of those parents. If you are married, you're going to need the tax returns and all of that with your spouse. And the cool thing about FAFSA now is that they have this connection where your tax returns and, the federal income, the tax authorities and your FAFSA application, they're linked. So when you do your taxes and get those tax returns, that you also is connected to your FAFSA. And let me just say this. This is why it's also important, that you don't allow other people to claim your kids on their tax returns. Why? Because it could hinder your student's FAFSA return, right? So as you're going through this process and your students are sophomores, juniors, seniors, and, going into college, you don't want to get into that fishy business of, claiming somebody else's kids, because when it's time to, complete FAFSA, then you could have some challenges there. So definitely gonna need your tax returns if you are applying for FAFSA 2019-2020 school year. Then they look at your tax returns from the 2017 year, okay? Next thing outside of tax returns, then you're going to need, voila, your money, right? Bank statements, investment, untaxed income. Yes, you're going to want to give records of those items and be able to document that in your FAFSA. How much income you have going in, if you have investments and money's coming in from that, or maybe you have different benefits that are untaxed, all of those as well is going to be needed for your FAFSA. And lastly, FSA ID. What's that? Federal Student Aid ID. Now, this is like the ID identification for those that apply for federal student aid. Now, the reason this is so important, let's say if you're a parent and you have 2 kids, right? Then what you're doing is that both kids will have a different federal student aid ID, and then that ID will connect with the parent, and now the entire system can identify who is who where completing FAFSA is concerned. And let's talk about when. So we talked about the who, the what, and the when. When, right? When can you apply for FAFSA? I encourage people that the FAFSA application, it opens up, I believe it's October of the previous year. So, you know, we're in 2019 now, and I know here in the state of Georgia, you can start applying for FAFSA around October of 2018 for the 2019 to 2020 school year. Now, when's the deadline? The deadline is the end of June of 2020. So if you're planning to going into school here in the fall of 2019 or maybe in the beginning of 2020, then you want to make sure that you jump on the beginning of the FAFSA application. Now, the reason it's so important and for you not to wait is because, you know, there's more money out there that's available when you are the first to get in and get all your information in there, and then, you know, they can give you clear identification on how much is available to you. And where do you apply for FAFSA? Simply go over to fafsa.ed.gov. fafsa.ed.gov. It's a simple application, and if you have all of those things which I mentioned, you know, the who, the what, the when, and again, let me go over the what real quick so you guys have those things. I'll do it backwards for you. Federal student aid ID, your bank statements, all of your income, be able to show on records of that and what that looks like. Yes, of course, your tax returns. If you're looking at FAFSA for 2019, 2020, then you want to, of course, use your 2017 tax returns. Your driver's license, you want to make sure you have that in there. Your social security number, okay? And then who is this for? Of course, any student, high school student planning on going to college, or maybe you're a college student who's in college, or maybe you're looking to return to college, right? Regardless of how much money you bring in, regardless of what you may think, I encourage every single person to apply for FAFSA. You know, reports shown some years ago that about $2.8 billion was unclaimed where federal government money for students were concerned. Why? Because people, students, and parents didn't apply. So if you want to take access of this money and the resources that are out there, hey, listen, go apply for FAFSA. Go ahead and do the work, and you can thank me later. All right, you can thank me later. Oh, and by the way, too, if you are interested, you know, one of my things is that I'm all about pushing scholarships. And if you're interested on how to locate and land more free money in your area of scholarships, I do a masterclass. And if you simply go over to CantusSimmons.com/masterclass, it gives you more great information on the 7 ways that you can locate scholarships, as well as the 7 ways that you can land college scholarships. Now, if this has been helpful for you, hey, go ahead and tag somebody, send it to your student, send it to your parents, send it to your boo, your bae, or another family member that could use this information. All right, I'm Cantus Simmons. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.